And ladies and gentlemen, Unit 3, Lesson 4, Terminating and Repeating Decimals. A number that can be written as a fraction is called a rational number. Every rational number can be written either as a terminating decimal or as a repeating decimal. So for example, a terminating decimal is something along the lines of 40 hundredths, meaning that it has a stop point. 0 would be the only thing that's going to be repeat from there. A repeating decimal is something like 1/3, which is 0.33 repeating. Okay, and that little line above it is bar notation, saying that that number is going to continue to repeat over and over and over and over again. Now we find that a couple different ways. If you notice, the terminating repeating decimal, we have 25 hundredths, 625 thousandths, and then we have 0.333 repeating, and 0.532 repeating, with the bar notation would go above there. All right. Example 1. If we take a look, the rational number itself. Remember, a rational number is a number that can be written as a fraction. So if we take a look, we look at what place value this is. We know that it's the tenths place value, and we know it's 3/10. So that's going to be our fraction. Pause really quickly and determine what this place value is, what its terminating decimal would be, and what its rational number would be. All right, our terminating decimal is 8/10. Right there, that's our 10th spot. So we have 8/10, or simplified to 4/5. Now those ones are pretty easy because those ones are nice and simple and break down nice and easily. Whereas if we take a look, if we can't multiply our denominator to get to 100 or simplify to do that, we have to divide the numerator by the denominator. So I'm going to give you an example of a rational number that does not terminate. So I'm going to go with 2/9. Okay. With 2/9, its repeating decimal is 0.2222222 all the way through. Now, as I talked about before, we use bar notation in order to indicate a repeating decimal. So from in here, we find the pattern, and then we draw a bar over where we know that pattern to be. For instance, this is 54 hundredths repeating. Here, it's 583 thousandths with the 3 repeating. I want you to go ahead and pause, and you try. Okay, so there's not one there, but I'd like you to try these 3 fractions. 1/4, 4/9, and 7/20. Pause and go ahead and do that. Okay. So if we take a look, 1/4 can multiply 25 times in order to get to 100. So we have 25 hundredths, which we know as 0 and 25 hundredths. No repeating decimals there at all. 4/9, we can't multiply 9 to get to 100, so we have to divide. Numerator divided by denominator. 4 on the inside, 9 on the outside. We know we have to add our decimal. 9 times 4 is 36. With a 4, writing down our 0. Notice we're right back to where we start. Got to move up the decimal, sorry. So we know that that's going to be 4 repeating, 4/10 repeating. 7/20. We can multiply 20 times 5 and 7 times 5 to give me 35 hundredths. 35 hundredths, 35 over 100. So we know it's a terminating decimal at 0.35 or 35 hundredths. I would like you to try example number 2. Pause the video and do so now. Okay, Frankie made 34 out of 44 free throws this season. To the nearest thousandth, what is his free throw percentage? Woo, that's pretty bad. Can't talk right now. So if we set up our proportion, we have is, of, correct? So we take our numerator and divide it by our denominator. 34 divided by 44. This is too large, so we add our decimal. Let's try 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. $308, we subtract. $32 is our answer. Add our 0. Same thing, 7 again. Drop our 0. So this time, we know that 40 times 3 is 120, so 44 times 3 would be much too high, so let's try 2. Minus 88, which is 32. Okay, and we add another 0. Notice how it's going to continue to repeat after this point, but we needed to go to the nearest thousandth. So what we have to do is take a look. Our 10,000th spot would be a 7. So it'll continue to be 772. So within there, we look here, we know we have to round up to 3. So we have 0.773. We move the decimal over twice, and we have 77.3%, which is pretty good for a free throw shooter. Pause the video and try and go through the real world link. 1/2 as a fraction is 1/2. The decimal that represents 1/2 of a pound, we multiply times 50 in order to get to 100, which equals 50 out of 100, or 5/10. If I wanted to buy 1/3 of a pound, what decimal would the scale show? So within there, 3 does not multiply into 100, so we have to divide the top number by the bottom, add our decimal and our zeros, bring up our decimal, and go from there. Notice already we have a pattern. So the decimal which on the scale would show 0.33 repeating. Oops, there we go. All right, good luck. Make sure you fill out your WSQ and create your question. All right, have a good day.